Hello, my name is CAM00072.mp4. I'm here to inform you about a research published in a family psychology journal called "Why Do Even Satisfied Newlyweds Eventually Go On to Divorce?" Not only does this happen in our own environment, but this also happens in TVs, it happens in newspapers, it happens in magazines with millions of celebrities. Some celebrities are Nick Lachey and Jessica Simpson, Kim Kardashian and Chris Humphries. They've all ended up in divorce even though they had a perfect marriage, as it seemed. In the research, there was four factors that were tested. The first factor was their commitment to one another, how they were committed. The second factor was how they communicated with each other, the forms of communication. The third factor was the maladaptive personality characteristics, which is their own personality, how they are themselves, separate from one another, just themselves. The fourth factor was the high levels of stress, not only from the marriage, but from work, from school, from anywhere outside of the environment. This study was experimental, and it was based upon surveys, lab sessions, and questionnaires. The people that were used for this experiment were 137 couples who were just married for the first time, between the ages of 18 and 35. They didn't have any kids and had a minimum of at least 10 years of education. The procedure: couples participated in a 3-hour lab session within 6 months of their wedding, in which they completed questionnaires, interaction tasks, and interviews. That was the first time. After 6 months happened, they had to complete another questionnaire by email. The third time, 6 months later, they had to go to a second lab session. And then from time 4 to 8, they were conducted via mail intervals. What was concluded in the research was that many low distress marriages that eventually ended up in divorce were mostly caused by display of more anger and negative skills. Another factor that was tested was dissolved marriages was also a negative support. If the marriage had negative support, it wasn't going to last. Also, another conclusion that was concluded was 15% of all couples ended up in divorce by the time they had their 10-year follow-up. 3 out of those divorces were before the 4-year period. Some disclaimers of the study was that the focus on childless newlyweds will limit the conclusions that can be drawn about older couples, gay couples, couples with children, or previously married couples. Pretty much, if gay couples can have a different, the test can come out different, the research could be completely different. If it was gay couples, if couples had children, if they were older, if they already had marriage experience, the research would have been different. That's a disclaimer. This information helps us by, now that we understand why many unpredictable divorces occur, we can make it our business to try and keep away from those factors that will harm our relationships and marriage. Another is that it makes us realize that it doesn't matter how long you have been married or how happy marriage seems. Divorce is something that may still occur no matter what. Divorce can happen, it doesn't matter, it can still happen. This presentation educated me because I have always wondered what it was like with couples who have been together for a while and looked happy, and why did they end up in divorce? It has never come to my attention to actually read about this issue and what main causes for such a rapid and unusual decision would be. Now I realize that these couples have many different factors in marriage that can alter in time that's been spent. Another reason this presentation educated me was because now I also know why couples secretly seek marriage counseling without having friends or family known. I also experienced between my family members and how things have changed. And it was shocking to me because my cousin and his wife lived so happily and then they ended up in divorce. That is it for my presentation. My name is CAM00072.mp4.